good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of Let the Truth Be Told with me and Stacey and Lori. And just glad to be back in the studio. It's been a long, hot summer. It seemed like a long time since we taped the program.
A little bit nervous about it, actually, Brother Williams.
You know, like the first time back in the sea, huh?
Wow.
But you know, I thank God for my audience and our audience that listen to us and watch us on either my TV program or the radio program.
WEFT 90.1.
Yeah, I mean, that I run across people every day almost say, man, I saw you on television, or I heard you on the radio. So I thank you guys for all the support that I've been getting and that you've been giving to all of us.
Yeah, we're a team, and as Brother Hub says, teamwork makes the dream work. Thanks again, Brother Williams, Lori, all the folks, Jason and Jake over at UPTV. I mean, thanks for this opportunity. It's awesome. We love it. Kids are getting back to school shopping and sales. So try to budget and save as many coins as you can, because you'll need them at Christmas. Just remember that. So without much ado, our Brother Williams had me I memorized the title, so he has me introducing it today. It is Faith, Family, Finances plus Fervency equals your personal fortune. So I know that's kind of a tongue twister, but we'll work through it. We always aim to be informative and entertaining as such, but more informative and offer some value for individuals and families alike. So we're going to kick it off with faith, and faith is really kind of like one of our prior episodes, which was All That Glitters Is Not Gold, and it's kind of believing in either your spirituality or believing in your future or your fortune, that something's going to come to pass without actually being able to, feel it, touch it, or smell it. So more of that intangible stuff from us, and without much further ado, I'd like to give it to Brother Williams and let him roll.
First of all, I want a big shout to the Heavenly Center guys for giving out those book bags. Yesterday at Janice Mitchell's, great job, guys. I know all those older guys, so keep up the good work. Faith is the belief in things that's hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So believing in something that you're hoping for, that you're wishing on, that you're counting on to come forth. You don't know if it's going to work or not. You might not know it's going to make it, but you're putting all your energy and all your eggs into the faithfulness of it, and you're looking for that thing to come to pass. Something that you can't touch, smell, that you really can't see.
Or even hear.
Yeah, you can't hear, you can't see it, but you know that it's something that's going to come, and that's something that's going to happen.
Yeah, being prayerful about that and really meditating on that, and as Brother Williams alluded to, knowing that it's going to show up, and with what we do, in addition to the radio and TV, we do insurance. We provide insurance solutions for families and individuals, and we find every day that one of the things that Brother Williams and I have to do is educate, not really promote or sell, but more educate our community and our customers, if you will, and our families, if you will, that although you can't see it, it'll be there. It's not if, it's when. So that is a large part of what we do, and kind of dovetail on that for us.
Just get into that whole product of insurance, things of that nature. I mean, the faith of it is that it's going to come through. Right. The work that's actually being produced is that payment, is that premium, is you doing the work of being able to provide that $10, $20, $30, $40. Right. That's the work. And so a lot of times we're looking for something to happen, but we're not putting that work in to make it happen.
That foundation.
Yeah, you got to put something together. You just can't look for the Lord to just throw something out the sky to you. I think we talked at I've heard at a Bible class the other night through Pastor Johnson. What happens is how we get blessed is just by the faithfulness of God putting faith and stuff in somebody else, and then that person provide a blessing to you. So it's about the relationship piece in that aspect.
Yeah. Not only with the insurance agency, but also with the Whip Barbershop. That's faith as well. As far as, okay, you're an entrepreneur there. You've got 3 or 4 independent contractors that when they come to that shop, Whip Hair Designs on 904 North 4, that is a walk of faith as well, because you don't know if anybody's going to join you at the shop other than your co-workers. So, that's faith as well.
And the faith that those guys got in me. that I'll have some power on for them.
Won't change the key on them.
You know,
I know you want to someday.
That's the faith, you know, that they got in me. You know, the faith that I have within being in business and being in, you know, a godly man and things of that nature, is that the Lord gonna bless, that I'll be able to have some business. You know, that we can stay in business. And this is definitely a faith walk when you're in your own business.
Yeah.
Because you don't anticipate, we know that if anybody's going to shop for whom they like, or if they like you to shop. So it's definitely putting your money out there. And one of the reasons, one of the ways I think that a lot of people just don't invest in the business, because a lot of people don't have faith when it comes down to getting into their own business. Because it's a scary experience.
It's a step off a cliff, if you will.
Oh yeah, if you're not properly prepared. And so that's the thing, you know, a lot of people don't want to invest and put their money into it, and then put their money into a much more secure investment than trying one of the most powerful blessings that can ever happen to a person in their lifetime is having their own business, to me. Because it provides you control, it provides you freedom.
Sure.
You know, just the leadership responsibility of it. But you know, being able to be your own boss, you know, that's a great feeling in the morning time, especially when you get up early and you feel good about yourself.
Right.
You know, you make you feel good about yourself. There's too many people that go to work and they kick the dog, you know, every evening they get home, you know, they can't stand their job, you know.
And that is inhumane. We do not condone kicking your dog.
Well, you know, that's just an expression.
A cliche.
Yeah, a cliche.
We understand, but we do not condone that. We love animals, and we are vehemently opposed to animal cruelty. But as we were prepping for the show, Brother Williams and I, we always kind of get together, and Lori, and prep, and what we came up with was an example of, as a result of being on UPTV and wanting to be informative for the community, that walk of faith as a lady who, this is back to school, so you know, you usually take your kids, your daughter and your son, get their hair done or get their hair cut. Single lady appeared to be a single lady with 3 children, and they all needed a haircut, and the lady walked in the shop, and she asked one of Brother Williams' independent contractors by the name of Marshawn how many heads he had to cut. Then the lady swiveled back and looked over at Brother Williams in his room where he cuts and said, "That's that guy on TV. We're leaving." So that's the walk of faith that I think that that we all want to aspire to put out, because you know, some days you may not make anything, some days you may make a fortune. So I feel like, you know, that's just another example of that faith.
But you know what that is an example of is not everybody gonna like what you say. Not everybody gonna accept what you represent and what you say. You know, I mean, we all, that's the great thing about
the freedom of speech.
That's the great thing about being in the United States of America. You got the right to choose. You got the right of choice. And so that's the blessing for being over here in the United States of America. You know, hopefully I ain't say nothing, you know, to really just rattle, but even if sometimes change comes when you rattle somebody. Right. You know, because if it bothers you that much, then you evidently you heard what I said.
Right.
You know,
that's a good thing. We're just here
So I think it's a great thing. I'm here to help and try to provide as much informative information and try to, you know, bring some cohesiveness to the community. Sure. You know, because you know, as a faith-based community that we are, you know, because we got a ton of churches around.
Sure, and we're in a faith-based business as well, in funerals.
You know, and dealing with all our families and Bible believers, me and Stacey and Lori. So just being a Bible believing business, you know, we believe in faith, so we promote faith. We promote, you know, trying to achieve a higher goal of success that you can't see, rub, or touch right now.
And helping others and enriching others, because we understand that our blessing is not in us, but in the people that we can help. And, you know, under Philippians, you know, faith can lead to persecution, and I feel like in that example that the young mother really either felt persecuted or in turn wanted to persecute you for your faith. And we, you know, no hard feelings, and hopefully you'll continue to, you know, observe the show and eventually become a fan of the show. And no hard feelings to you though, ma'am. I just wanted to, you know, kind of dovetail on that. But you mentioned Bible believing families and Bible businesses, and you know, family is so important as a part of what we do too. And a family consists of usually family members, isotopes in physics, you know, communities, if you will. So now let's kind of dovetail into families and how important, and it seems like I like this topic because, as a subtopic, is because being in the funeral business, it's amazing how you find during consultations with our funeral directors and families that how interconnected we all are. So I kind of want to wind you up on the family thing with you having more than 20 brothers and sisters and probably 100 lineal descendants even within Champaign County. I think you'll be good for this topic, Brother Williams.
You know, family is very important, you know, and I mean, you need somebody to kind of lean on and things of that nature to help nurture each other and help build each other, you know, and so a lot of times people don't have, some people don't have as many family members as I know as I have.
Oh, goodness.
You know, but even in a big family, you still get microed, and you still just mess with a very few of your family members even like that, you know, and we talked about that earlier, you know, people don't really know you like that,
right?
And so even though you family, sometimes you might not even know each other like that. Sure. But being family and family orientated where we are as far as in the funeral home business, you know, we see a lot of families, and a lot of these families represent, you know, kind of like even my family, you know, we all got our hurts, habits, and hang-ups, you know, but we're still family.
Yeah, and blood is thicker than water.
Yeah, so you know,
we understand the way that works.
Yeah, so you know, I had a great experience with family this past week. My mom had her 60th year class reunion. So about 6 to 8 months ago, my mom said, "You're gonna be at my 60th year."
Yeah, I didn't believe it. It was Champaign-Urbana Day. It was that last week, and I know how important you are to that too. So.
Yeah, Champaign-Urbana Day is a big day for me. I normally do the basketball tournament. I've been in Champaign-Urbana Day for the last 19 years, but when my mom said I'm gonna be at her class reunion in Tunica, Mississippi, I got to go there. And so I wasn't able to be at Champaign-Urbana Day, but I had a great experience with family. So we had planned for my sister from Iraq to be back and meet us down there in Tunica. My sister from Atlanta, she met us. And me and my direct brothers and sisters from my mom's side, we haven't been all together in 25 years. So it was a great experience for us to be around my mom, and we messed around, and we went to the meet and greet. And then we went to, I talked to a lady down there, and she gave us 10 tickets to see the Steve Harvey Nephew Tommy show. And was able to spend some good time in the VIP with my mom, and she was able to get up and say all her kids. So, you know, sometimes, you know, we spent a lot of time down there, you know, healing our hurts and our habits and our hang-ups that we had with each other, you know. And I'm not afraid to say that, because everybody have family and friends that you need to reconnect with. Don't be so bull-headed that you can't say I'm sorry. Don't be so such a much that you take out the opportunity, you leave off the opportunity to be around family and friends and be able to bring people back in, because that's what builds the bridge. That's what makes us better, is when we're able to say, hey, I'm sorry. Even if you weren't the one that caused the problem, because a lot of times we're mad at each other and we don't even know we're mad about it because we've been mad so long. You know, and those are the things that hold you back from your blessings, when you're not able to be able to say I'm sorry and then be able to be a blessing to somebody else by giving them an encouraging word. So I think it was just a great overall experience. We had so much fun that we carried back on the weekend we got back, and it was my mom turned 76.
Oh wow!
Thank the Lord.
Congratulations!
And so I mean, we just had such a great time this past week. And my sister came back from Atlanta. She said, I had so much fun with my brothers and sisters last week, I had to come back this week. And so I just had such a great time with my own personal family. But you know, when we compare family, we think about community. You know, we're really a family here. You talked about interconnecting.
Sure.
When we sit back and because I was gone for like 12 years to the military. So when I come back and I meet some of these people that have grown up, and some of these kids that have grown up, and some of the older people that I knew, and I start finding out who's a brother to who, and who's a nephew to who.
Short tail cousin.
And then I'm like, oh man, I know them. I didn't know they were kin to that person and that person. And then you almost feel like that person is really kin to you because they're married to somebody else. And that's how our families used to grow back in the day. You know, because somebody married into the family, then their family come connected with that part of the family. And then you got cousins and you got nephews horseshoes and stuff that connect with each other, and then you just have some big old mess around champagne or Band-Aid that happens out at Lake in the Woods. And now you got grandmothers cooking with each other, you got uncles barbecuing, you got people playing horseshoes. You know, I mean, when Fresh Prince came up that song, it said summer, summer, summertime.
Yeah.
I mean, you can really feel that in the video. You can feel that in the video. Yeah, you can feel that in the video because it was a summertime, and that's when families get together. You can come outside and you do a cookout.
Shine your car all day.
Oh man, and you sit back and you know, pop a cold one if you want to pop a cold one, you know. Yeah. I mean, but you had so much fun. Nowadays we're missing our porch families.
Sure.
And so we're missing that time to connect and build relationships. And so that ultimately hurts us as community. So, you know, just getting back to some of those things, I've seen some of those things just happen most recently, and most recently was over at the Martin Luther King subdivision.
Great.
Big shouts out to Sam Taylor and Raymond Carter for putting that event together.
And Jimmy Pettigrew, wasn't he over there too?
Yeah, but they had a block party.
Yeah.
They had a block party this past weekend on Friday. And I was talking to Sam and both Raymond, and they said they came up with the idea by just standing in the driveway and saying, hey man, we gotta have a block party.
Sure. You
know, and get the neighbors out and things of that nature. And they went around and passed out flyers within their neighborhood in the Martin Luther King subdivision. And Raymond Carter, he's a DJ, he's a renowned DJ that DJ parties and weddings and things of that nature. And Sam Taylor's, you know, him and his family and Cam and those guys, they're great cooks. Darren and his mom, and they're great cooks. And so they fired the grills up, and then that made a lot of the other neighbors, you know, down there. They
smell the air, huh?
Yeah, that made all the other neighbors start rolling their grills out and getting their barbecue together. And next thing you know, the whole block was doing electric slides. And so I was sitting up and we took some pictures, and I'm like, man, this is a great moment, you know. This is kingdom building right here, you know, because we're building it block by block, and we're building our community up block by block, and that's family, you know, because even though you might not be a blood family member, you know, but when you come into that cup,
family in that community,
in that net, and you see it, you can see yourself in that. That's part of faith, seeing yourself. Seeing
it before it happens.
Seeing it happen. Seeing my neighborhood.
Be the boss, dress like the boss. Yeah. That's kind of an aside, but if you want to be your boss, start dressing like your boss. Yeah. Wear those better shoes on Monday. So thanks a lot for the family output, because you really feel like, which is another part of our show today, you know, you see the fervency of people coming together, you know, as a family, and like you alluded to, Mr. Brother Williams, not only a family in blood family, or family in nature, but a family in community. And you often spoke of, you know, through the blighted times of maybe the early 90s and, you know, the Len Bias era, that, you know, a lot of the zeal of the Champaign community has kind of been zapped, but, you know, things of that nature of the block party and what Raymond Carter and those guys did, hopefully that can be repeated and duplicated in some of our other neighborhoods. You know, Stacey, a lot of times we can't do better because we don't know better. Sure.
And a lot of times, a lot of the guys don't know the history of Champaign.
Yeah, sure.
You know? And so a lot of times, when I'm in the barbershop, I share with some of my young people, and they talk about Champaign and Band-Aid, a one-year event. I tell them, I say, man, we had Champaign and Band-Aid every day when I was growing up.
Yeah, a lot of family, estranged family and family that lives out of the area to be at Champaign or Band-Aid this year, and I know you were in absentia this year, but you know from past years, a lot of folks come back to Champaign and plan their family summer visit around that.
You know what, Stacey? It's because a lot of those guys are older guys, and those guys remember just on a regular summer Monday or a regular summer Friday. Johnny Wilson will have the softball games going on out there with the Expos and the Pettigrews and a bunch of these, the Sallies, and they'll have their tournament going on.
Community,
they had their own thing going on, and he was back there selling Polish sausages and the bologna sandwiches and things of that nature. Then we'll be over there on the court, and DC will be DJing over there on the basketball court, just Jimmy them just say, hey man, let's bring the stereo out there. We didn't have to get no permits and all this type of stuff, you know. They would just show up out there. We got a full court game going on with legends like Tyke Peacock and Glenn Phillips and Chris Lipscomb, and you know, just a whole bunch of
top legends.
Man, those guys were legends on the court over there. And then the kids would have a movie going on at the same time. You know, so it was cars parked all around the Dudley Center. You didn't see the signs that you see now. Park closed at dusk. We didn't know nothing about dusk. We stayed in the park until 11 o'clock at night, 12 o'clock at night, you know, because we were right around our neighborhood, and we loved our neighborhood. And that's the thing about it too. You got to have something tangible that you can do, you know, things to do to come around to build that family base, you know. So a lot of times now we want to go in reverse. Even though we get more, even though we start to find out more, we want to do less.
Sure.
And so when we do less with families, then we get the results that we get with families.
Sure.
When we do less with community, you get the results of community that we get.
Yeah.
It's less.
Yeah. With that being said, too, a lot of times, if we had more money, had more savings, etc., we could do more as well. So now we want to kind of lead into finances, which is 18 out of about 35 or 36 parables in the Bible as an aside. So, you know, stewardship and possession is very critical, and that kind of also obviously encompasses finances, which is the management of investments, banking, you know, your debt, your credit. So kind of with that being said, with the businesses that we're in, primarily, you know, in the funeral home, that is, I mean, probably a funeral is probably the third largest expenditure that any individual or family will have in life, and the average is about $8,000 to $12,000. So that's a financial obligation. And kind of talk about finances, because you owning 3 businesses and having a household and various properties. How essential is finances, and also kind of, I don't want to crowd you, but also kind of dovetail into the shambles that we've seen individuals and families go through that have not properly architected their finances, Brother Williams.
You know, Stacey, when you talk about finances, most people come back with the comment, you know, my money funny.
Right, but why?
And then come back with the, or let me, and a lot of people got that cliche now, let me hold something.
Right.
You know, and the Bible talks about being a lender and not a borrower.
Sure.
You know, and so when you talk about finances, you want to get to the point where you can be able to lend somebody something.
Right.
Be able to do something for somebody. Be able to bless somebody. And when you got more people trying to borrow than lend, then that's when that's when you have the economy that's upside down. And so that's what we've been running into as a nation. But when we run into, we look at our even our finances, you know, never say the word can't. Right. Because there's so many different ways to try to get your finances together. And when we got into business, you know, having probably 10% of what industry standards even say even be in the
for startup capital, that kind of reverse back to faith.
So we see miracles happen.
Sure.
You know, been a product of miracles, you know. And so I always encourage people that don't worry too much about the finances, you know, when you're trying to get into business, you know, work more on the plan. But finances are very, very important to be able to move forward and be able to cover the bills, you know. So, and everybody has moments in their lives where the money don't be right, you know. So, I mean, we experience it. Nobody's exempt, you know. And I mean, the economy's experienced, the state of Illinois is experiencing it even. So, you know, don't feel like you're on a boat by yourself. You know, the thing that got to come in, that to come in better on that is educate yourself so that when you know better, you can do better.
Sure.
So putting that money in the right place, being able to know how to save, you know, and being able to cut back, you know. I remember going into the house and my air conditioner running, you know, and nobody's at home, you know, and I'm like, man, who left the air conditioner on?
Right.
You know, I mean, because
you $12 that day.
For 8 hours to 12 hours a day, nobody's using the air conditioner, you know, and it's just, and I was in the military, so they used to have signs about energy saving in the military years and years ago. I ain't gonna tell you how old I am, but years and years ago, they had signs about saving energy. And that's one way to cut back, saving energy.
Sure. I like that. But, you know, there again, we're not, you know, saying not be giving, because giving is very essential too in finances, and not losing the giving spirit as well. And we know that tithing and giving back to our brothers and sisters is also big too. So kind of talk about that too.
Well, you know, give it back to an entity that's giving you. You know, that's somewhere that you feel comfortable with putting back into and sowing a seed back into. You know, like your various churches, your non-for-profit organizations. You know, United Way, some of these other different places that you might want to put some seeds back into. I mean, I see a lot of great places that's doing a lot of great work. You know, Urban Rescue Ministry is one of the examples. You know, that I see great work. You know, that we experienced by going out there even doing services, and just seeing the aura. You know, the whole spirit of the place. You know, of encouraging people to be better. And so I like places like that myself. You know, we've seen various churches with various different programs going on, building funds, things
very giving.
You know, and so I'm a big believer in investing into something that's bigger than yourself.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
And trying to help kingdom building. So I believe in that. You know, and then talking about finances, you know, we find out so much when we're dealing with finances through insurance and things of that nature. You know, I think me and you went over, Stacey, about how you can be putting some money into an insurance policy.
Like a policy that you pay for 50 years and that's got a $5,000 face value, and then we found out through our diligent research on the insurance industry, it's a term called cash surrender amount, and we've seen people's cash surrender amounts be $50,000 on a $5,000 policy. So that's finances again, and just like you say, making yourself knowledgeable. And with the internet and different things like that, you don't have to go into the stacks at the library anymore. Just Google it or hit it on Bing. You know,
a lot of times, you know, my people perish because of the lack of knowledge, and a lot of times, see, knowledge is the key. And what knowledge does for you, it makes you be able to see. And see, if you don't know no better, a blessing could be right in front of you, and you can't see it because you don't know it to be a blessing. So that's what the tools of education does for you. It makes you be able to see, and you can see better. You can see that blessing coming down there. Now you really can stand on your faith walk because you can see it. You know, and if you don't have a vision, you can't create a vision in it. You know, so many times our leadership, you know, they don't have a vision. You can't be the leader.
Or don't share the vision.
Or don't share the vision.
Which keeps people on the line.
Or if it's a selfish vision.
Sure.
You know, that's why your heart got to be right. Your heart got to be pure. You know, when you're in an administrative role of any kind, you're in a leadership role of any kind for people, your heart got to be pure. You got to be healed from all the bitterness and the anger and the ugliness of you, because it ain't about you no more. It's about these people and what God will want you to do. You know, and doing what's right. And so when we talk a lot about scripture and things of that nature, I was telling Stacey earlier, that's the blueprint that we believe in. You know, whether we doing it or not, it's still what's right.
Right.
It's the ground.
It's what we strive for.
It's what we strive for. And every day that you wake up, that's a brand new opportunity to strive for something. To strive for righteousness. To strive the truth. Try to get your finances together. Strive to try to, you know, build up some type of business where you can have a faith in your business or any of that nature, or family. It's another day to get your family together.
Yeah. Brother Williams, I love that part right there where you mentioned family as a part of finances, because as we examine businesses, being in business, usually families kind of consist of a business enterprise, especially with the number of small businesses in America far outnumbering large manufacturers and corporations. So let's kind of dovetail from family, overlap that with finances. And with us being in business, we understand living on margins, you know, financially, spiritually, in your family function, and also, you know, even physically. So let's talk about living on the margins as far as your finances are concerned, and kind of, you know, how you must be diligent and very disciplined when dealing with your finances to you know, defend against overspending.
You know, and dealing with family and finances, you know, that's almost sometimes could be oil or water,
which repel.
You know, and so sometimes, but you know, standing on your finances, that's standing on family to let the, you know, because family got to understand that, You know, we're in this business to succeed.
Right. And for the long term.
For the long term, and they gotta be able to see the dream also, and feel that dream, and be able to taste that dream also, and being a part of that dream, you know, and getting paid properly, you know, and things of that nature that play a bit major role in family, you know, because you talk about overspending, you talking about, you know, whether somebody want to grab a hamburger for themselves or feed
or a filet mignon,
you know, and whatever the case might be, you know. So, because we were in business with family before, and so you run across all of those things that you have to explain and things of that nature that tap into your finances, and so it brings down your profit margins and things of that nature. So, but finances is major, and what I would say with finances is asking somebody that's in finance,
seeking a godly counsel,
seeking some good counseling. Go to some different groups, even with your own personal finances. Maybe going to, you know, people that's in your family that might be doing a little bit better off. Instead of hating on them, ask them how did they get to where they're trying to get to? Or how did they get there?
You know, also like we had talked about with the overspending, though, Brother Williams. You know, by seeking that counsel, whether that's an informal board or a formal board. I know you know a lot of very high ups and astute people in town, and it seemed like a common trait for most of your more successful leaders is that they have a counsel that they talk to. You know, I remember a guy that told me the other day, I want to buy a brand new diamond ring for my wife, but he said his buddy told him, definitely don't ask that jeweler, should I buy that diamond ring, and go home and kind of marinate on it, pray on it, if you will, and kind of come up with that decision. So I guess the conclusion of that short story is that if you want to buy something or make a major purchase, you're probably not going to ask that guy at the jewelry store, the jeweler, or the computer guy at the computer store what you should do.
Well, I mean, in that analogy, you know, definitely, I mean, you going to, I mean, that's like going to the car dealer and asking, do you need a new car?
Yeah, of course.
He's going to show you everything on the lot.
And give you the keys. Take your keys.
Yeah, I mean, we got a commercial in time where where the lady says that, hey, they don't even ride with you, they let you ride the car by yourself. You know, so that, I mean, but definitely going to somebody that you respect, that you trust, that you done seen them, and you've seen them maybe grow, and you have a great relationship with, and that you can trust and respect what they have to tell you. You know, and I mean, running that fresh idea. Hey, should I get in this business or should I not get in this business? You know, and getting feedback throughout the, you know, I mean, we did it with certain businesses and things, getting feedback through the community to see what the community think. You know, and whether the community give you positive feedback or negative feedback, say this thing something that they want. So we've seen that happen before. It's been tried and true.
Yeah, and it's worked for us. I think we've heard billions in feedback. So there's example after example after example that what you want is out there, especially if you're willing to go door to door and knock on doors and ask people how they feel and how they really feel. You know,
we see so much fictitious TV, you know, and things of that nature, and we see all these shows, Atlanta Housewives and divorced women, and it seems like so you know, so you know, a lot of times we trying to reach these high goals of finances, you know, but you know, you can be riding around in a Buick or a Bentley, but unhappiness is unhappiness.
Sure.
You know, and so trying to get to be like some of these people on television, you know, don't work. Your motive's got to be pure, even in that, Stacey. Even in building finance, your motive's got to be pure. You know, because of the fact that you can reach where you're trying to get to, and the Lord will bless you to get there. But when you get there, you won't like where you arrived to.
And you got to understand how you got there. You didn't get there on your own.
And definitely that, because a lot of times people make it to a certain level and then close the door. You know, and then everybody that helped them get to where they got to, they done forgot them along the way.
Yeah.
And then you have to see this so much the power of God right here. He allow you to get there, and then take it from you. Now you got to go back down that bridge from which you came, and now you got to see all them people that you disrespected, that you didn't let them hold a dollar in line, that you didn't, you know, you boasted on them. You know, you bragged on them, you know what I'm saying? And so, and one thing, and I like this, and I'm not going to really just talk about myself, but I like this here part right here, is that when I just rolled over here to the show,
sure,
I seen a bunch of the brothers from the hood standing in one of the other brothers' driveways, and they barbecuing and they mixing it up with each other. But stop it. Taking your time out. You know, these brothers ain't on what I'm on. But at the same time, I've been knowing these brothers for the longest. They've been, a lot of them been patrons down in my shop. Probably 20 years. Probably 25 years, you know, that I've been in Champaign. But you know, just because you see yourself and you somewhere in a direction that somebody else met, or a level that somebody else hasn't made it there yet, you know, don't mean that you count them out.
Yeah.
Because those guys might not have arrived to where the Lord gonna take them to neither.
You know what, Brother Williams, you know, I gotta go back to Least Likely to Succeed. I love that article. You know, I read that a lot. It's in the office, it's at the web. And you know, some of the feedback I got from the community was, okay, the SL 500, the opulent funeral home and the opulent properties, but I feel like a lot of the reason why you've been able to maintain and grow, not only start something, but like we know, preservation is harder than anything, even accumulation. So I think the reason why, just my thought is, the reason why you've been able to maintain and keep what you've got is because you've been able to really keep your humility and really be able to stop in that driveway with a lot of the guys that really aren't as evenly yoked as you and far along spiritually and in your life and conquest. I think that's a lot of the reason why you've been able to maintain and, like I said, accumulate and grow what you've got.
You know, Stacey, you know, first of all, I give all big shouts out to God and God's
and
grace,
the source.
It's God's grace and mercy and a lot of the people that tapped into my life.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a lot of people that's responsible for me being who I am and doing what I'm doing. It wasn't just me.
Right.
You know, and when I went down south, I was able to tell those people down south, because as we move up north, we sometimes forget about the work that was put in down south.
Right. The hard work.
Yeah, the hard
like
work.
Your mom will say,
you know,
cotton fields,
right, I'm sitting outside this little church in Frenchman Bayou, Arkansas, where my mom grew up at, and she got baptized in a river just down the street.
And the cemetery is out back of the church.
And right, the cemetery just right outside the church door. And I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at these cotton fields, but I'm looking at miles and miles of cotton fields. And I was able to tell because my older brothers and sisters chop cotton. You know, I didn't have to, me and my sister, we didn't have to do that. And so I was able to tell my sisters and my brothers now, and even the people down there, when I spoke down there, I thank you for your sacrifice. Because it took a sacrifice for you to get up early that morning and day after day go beat that hot sun, and then my mom to put that dime away, put that other dime away, that's that extra fine, put that other dime away, because she knew she wanted to get us out of there. She knew she wanted to get us to something better for you. She wanted to get that something better. Maybe her life wasn't as good as she wanted to be, but she was invested into her kids. Yeah. And so even getting your finances together, maybe your finances wasn't together or might not be all together, but that don't mean that you can't reinvest into your kids. Get them the proper preparation so they won't be poorly performing.
And what we've seen also, thank you for that family testimony there, and I just love your testimonies as relates to your family. I really respect your family and how cohesive you are, even though, as you say, you're kind of on different islands at times, but you all come together. Don't ever not know. They come together around each other if there's a problem. So, but that being said, about the finances, just the hard work and the diligence and the savings that goes into that, and in a time when a lot of our families are kind of crumbling, and mom or dad might even get a telephone or a power bill into the name of their kid and then not pay the bill. You know, even with kids starting out with bad credit, even before 18, it is so important and essential. Would you not say that you gotta face your borrowers and pay your bills?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, even sometimes, you know, as times things get tough and things have got tough for me before. But you know, big shouts out to those lenders that have entrusted in
Matt Goldberg,
you know,
Bank Champagne.
You know, because one of the things that you got to do is pick the phone up and let somebody know.
Right.
You know,
even if you can't pay a bill, face your borrower.
Let somebody know. You know, because you never know. It's all kinds of ways to skin a cat. they might be able to talk to you about some refinance.
For sure.
You know, something that you never thought of. You know, I've did it for people.
Sure.
I've told people, don't worry about that. You don't owe me anything.
Forgiving or forbearance or deferment, or how about just a letter of apology and like you would say, a letter of understanding, a credit of understanding that, sir, ma'am, if I'm not able to do that right now, I can get you in a timely manner when I can get that to you.
But I can't get you.
And not duck and dodge.
And so that's what builds, because it's one thing called credit, but it's another thing called character. And so character is way bigger than credit. You know, and people go off of, you know, one way, and Pastor talked about this, one way to check future success is to check past success.
Sure.
And that's one way to check into it, you know. You want to check and see what a person's going to be like, check what they've been like.
Right.
And then you'll be able to tell what they're going to be like. And that's what people are doing when they say credit. They're really checking out to see what you've been like.
We call it credit edit. And if your credit's bad, edit that credit and turn that bad credit into good credit. We want to see everybody with a 700 FICO score better.
But you know what, Stacey? That's why I like, and excuse my word, but I like hood credit.
Oh, that's Main Street.
I like
not Wall Street.
Because hood credit go off your character.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about you. You know, they're not checking on numbers. They're checking on, oh, okay, that's Sean. Okay, right. Yeah, I got $100 for you. Can I hold $50? Oh, I got $50 for you. That's Sean.
Right.
You know, opposed to somebody saying, man, come on. Man, he better not ask me for $5. You know, I mean, and that's the way people play it. Because people know your character, know what you represent.
Yeah.
They know that they might not be able to get their money back. You know, and the older people had principles back in the day. You know, you only stood for what, you know, you stood for something.
Right.
And you only was good for your name. Yeah. They say it's on your name. Yeah. You know, and that's what older people talk about, it's your name, and that finance with your name.
Yeah.
And so that's why you see a lot of older people with their stuff together, because the principles that they believe in are much more different.
And hold that thought on your name, because we're going to kind of wrap name into even some later topics. But I know we got kind of long-winded on finances, but finances are so key right now, especially with a tough economy.
Major part.
And how you know, your possessions that you currently have, you got to protect them. And with that, we'll dovetail into fervency, which I got to tell the audience, I've shared this with you earlier, Pat Robertson's 700 Club, he said this word and it just set me on fire. So fervency, you know, the boiling point. We did 112, which is the boiling point for water, ardor. Fervency, like a zeal, a passion for what you do, and a zeal and a passion is definitely something that nobody can steal from you, and has an exponential value, a value that you can't even place a number on. So I love that cream suit today, and you're showing a lot of fervency there. So help us out with fervency, Brother Williams.
Well, you know, I had to ask you even what fervency, man. Well, I'm like, man, what is that?
You know, I got the title today because that was a tongue twister for him. So.
You know, relationships. You know, that's why I plugged up with him. You know, go back to family. You know, right. He always say, you know, this is my brother from another mother. Yeah. You know, and so that's family. So
that's family.
But back on fervency, you know, and just you're going to have to go over that again.
Okay, that zeal and that passion. You know, the fervency, you know, being on fire for what you do, being passionate, being willing to boycott for something or riot or protest over something that you don't stand for, you don't like. You know, stepping up and taking a stand, standing on the word, as Pastor Gibney would say. And what you've done here in the community, in a slow-moving community, I might add, you know, how you stood up and you've taken the flag and you're running with it.
You know, I mean, and that go back to character, principles, and morals and value. You know, and all that builds up to that boiling point that you talk about. You know, to put you into an action mode. You know, and make you start stepping your game up. You know, as you know better, you start doing better. You know, and as you start putting away childish things in your life. You start standing up, being men and women. You know, and representing your community, representing your country, right? You know, really believing in Barack Obama.
And representing yourself, right?
And it starts right there.
It starts with you.
It starts individually. You know, it's like that young mother that we talked about, you know. First it started with you, Mom. You know, then that kid, you know, standing on him. You know, pull those pants up. We gonna get a haircut. You know,
that grooming.
They're there grooming. Because image means everything when you're trying to persevere.
Especially on that first day of school and that teacher's looking at you and, what kid am I picking on this year? Don't let that be your kid. Get that haircut at the well.
Yeah.
You can't afford it. They've got free haircuts over there, and there's no excuse for your son or daughter.
There's no excuse.
Your daughter not to have her eyebrows touched up, or your son not to have that clean cut.
Yeah, you should have that. And image means everything. It determines whether the teacher gonna decide if you're least likely to succeed or not. You know, and so if you can do better, then do better. You know, and as a community and trying to get to that boiling point, trying to get to where we can be a role model community. You know, a lot of projects that we work on throughout, even tragedies or something like that, we work on in a role model status.
Sure.
You know, we can, because it's nothing new under the sun. So the same problems that we see here, when I went down to Mississippi, I saw them there. You know, when we stopped in Arkansas, we saw the same things there. As I talked to a guy in Baton Rouge today, and my nephew on the radio, you know, they're having problems in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
And that is such a new and beautiful place, but they still have problems.
And as we talk to him, that's connected with LA, LA's having even problems. So as we're having the problems, and we're dealing with it as a community, no matter how hard it is for us to come together to deal with it, we're dealing with our issues. But when we come up with a common solution that'll work, it can be a role model solution that other communities might take up as a blueprint.
Sure.
And say, hey man, this might work in our community also. You know, and you got to see yourself doing that. It's gonna take that faith. And without that action step, there is no faith.
Yeah.
You know, there is no faith without no action step.
Faith without work is in vain.
It's dead.
The audience.
The Bible says dead.
You know, on the fervency thing, as far as with the kids, that doesn't require even finances, major purchases, back to school clothes, etc. But as an example, you said fervency, and i.e. of fervency is, you know, being from a family of educators, my mother and father, aunties, uncles, fervency can be, as an example, a white shirt, a clean white shirt at school, you know, a rested child, energetic child, it's a child that's just clean.
Stacey, I'm gonna tell you something. You know, we done got into this old popcorn era of things, you know, and everything
microwave generation.
Microwave, and you know, I love old school. I hope we hold on as much old school knowledge for as long as we can, because I remember clothes on a clothing line. I remember my mom taking me into the bathtub and saying, "Wash those jeans out on this washboard." You know, so sometimes there's no excuse. You know, sometimes.
And how much did that cost, though, other than that elbow grease?
That's all it was, elbow grease. It was just the time that I had to spend in.
Right.
So you might not have the best jeans on. You ain't working on jeans. A lot of times I tell my mothers that come in and get their son's haircut, and they say, "Oh, I want this mohawk," or I want to grow his hair out because I want to braid his hair up and this, that, and other. I said, don't worry about what's on top of his head. Worry about what's in his head.
Right there.
That's what's going to determine. That's what's going to determine on who little Johnny or whoever this going to be.
Little Jane or Johnny.
Because what's in the head gonna go travel to the heart.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times image is important. It is very, very important. But a lot of times it don't cost us that to clean those jeans up, press those pants up.
And that crisp white shirt. It doesn't have to be a polo or American Eagle or any of your other brands.
I was fortunate enough that I went over to the Time Center, and there's so many people that do give. So I think thanks to all the people that do take the time out to clean their closet out,
and resell and Carl
and give to people and donate to people, because there's people out there that's unfortunate that need it. Yeah. And I was able to see some shoes, and it was some really pretty shoes that was up there at the Time Center, in the size 13.
A little big for you.
Little big for me. But when I seen the shoes, I told the lady, I said, "Oh man, those are some awesome shoes right there. Somebody gonna be happy with those." She said, "Sean, you can get them if you want them." I said, "Nah, I'm gonna leave for somebody else." But that's fortunate. That's a little bit less fortunate. But you know, and then y'all folks that can do better, stop taking advantage of those people that's out there that need the stuff. You know, don't you be the first one in line.
Right.
You know, if you can do better. Sure. You know, save it for the folks that really, really, really need it. You know, lot of, you know, I ain't gonna ride that too hard, but don't do that. But, you know, and one of the other great experiences that I had recently, and I know we on Fervency and Boiling Point, but I wanted to discuss this, is that I went over to the dam and had a gracious opportunity from Miss Rebecca over at the University of Illinois and the counselors program invited me to go over to Danville and be able to talk to about 20 inmates about getting into business, entrepreneurship, and things of that.
And personal fortune.
And just,
you know, even if you're in jail, you've got a personal fortune out there.
You still got a net worth. You still have a net worth.
Whether it be 6 cents a day or 600,000 a day, that's a personal fortune.
You know, the net worth with you. You know, even though you're disconnected from a lot of, you know, the outside world, but those guys living with each other and relying on each other.
Sure.
You know, and these group of guys, they're all in the business. They're all in the business mode. They're thinking about creating their own businesses. And I was just amazed at how many of these guys had great talents.
Sure.
That were incarcerated. You know, one guy's an artist and another guy wanted to start a motorcycle. And it doesn't make a difference if you're black, white, Latino. You're all incarcerated. So we
all got a number.
Like I told them, we all even right today. You know, all you guys are even right.
What was your number as a guest? I'm just kind of curious. Did you have a number?
No, you don't get a number. You get
000.
No, you get your name plate.
Okay.
And you know, it touched me. And it was a powerful experience to me because of being able to come in and being able to leave.
Sure. Wow.
You know,
freedom.
And being able to walk, being able to respect of being in the land of the free, the home of the brave, you know, and it made me respect freedom and another opportunity to get out here and honest days work for honest days pay.
You ran right back over to that next appointment. You tell me you did.
Yeah, you know, but one of the things that we talked about and we discussed when I was talking to those guys is they were talking about entrepreneurship and things of that nature. And I start out with this first. One of the things that Miss Rebecca, she was saying, hey, this is Sean, and he does this, and he's the barber, and this, that, and the other, and talk to the guys about how they probably couldn't be in some of these positions that I'm in. And one of the things I started them guys out with is I said, you're going to hear me talk a lot about God, first of all, and I want you guys to take the word can't out your vocabulary. Right. I want my audience out there, take that word can't out. And one of the things I went over there with them, and I went over some biblical stuff with them, and I told him, I said, just like the lady with the issue of blood, that she just wanted to touch the hem of his garment, just like the guy that wanted to get healed, and they tore a rooftop up to get to Jesus so he can get healed, you can do the same thing too. It's hallelujah today right now. Well, I mean, so just like I told him, I never knew that I'd be doing the stuff that I'm doing because, like the article said, at least likely to succeed, I could have went down that page and you know, and so a lot of times, you know, don't worry about what everybody's saying about you. Don't worry about what the distractors are saying. And don't even worry about what your current environment is saying. Well, we read the scripture, and I was reading over some notes from Pastor Johnson. Ask the Lord to heal you right where you at right now, even in your mess. Man, come on, Lord, heal me right now. You accept that and you believe in that. That's going to be faithful. You're going to live. You're going to step into a whole other arena that you never thought you'd be.
Turn that mess into success.
And like I told those guys, it's a thing. I never thought that I'd know a state senator on my cell phone that I could pick it up and he know that Sean. You know, never thought I'd know some of the chief and some of these guys, you know, be in a position. But it's out there for you. You just got to grab onto it. Take advantage of the opportunities out there.
And what it seems like you're saying is personal fortune. Yeah. You didn't say the actual word personal fortune, but that kind of equals personal fortune. And that doesn't, you know, fortune is usually kind of similar or spoke of in the same conversation of I've amassed a great personal fortune, or that car cost me a small personal fortune. But how about personal fortune is taking a mess and distress and turning it into success where you stand and moving forward?
Right where you at, Stacey. You know, right there. You know, taking that, flipping that negative. See, and that's why I love the Word of God. You know, I love listening to the Word of God because, you know, right there where you at, turn that around. You know, turning that around. You know, and the Bible says everything works for the good for those who believe in the Lord. So even though it's messy, it's cloudy, you blind right now, you can't see it right now.
You can't be delivered, can't you?
It still can happen for you. You know, and that's why, you know, a lot of times the Lord, He's not just going to take you into your wealthy place.
Sure.
Because
you might not be able to handle it.
Because you ain't know how to act. So He got to take you through your mess.
Yeah.
He got to take you through a little something, a little trial, a little error, so you appreciate it. and that you can know it was God that got you there, not you yourself. You know, because we get a lot of selfishness on us sometimes, you know. So then that's when we start bragging to all our friends. Oh, look at this, look at that, look at where the Lord got me at now.
Or look at where
where
I got myself.
Exactly, or where I got myself, and you know, putting other people down.
Yeah.
You know, and so you know, you don't want to be like that. Even though we do got people that's at times in life like that.
Sure.
You know.
Sure, we're all of the flesh, and we all are imperfect by nature. But I'm so happy that you brought up the Danville experience, because, you know, say you've been considered a career criminal or recidivist on parole or probation or parole or what have you. 9 times out of 10, probably 11 times out of 10, your personal fortune, for everybody that we're talking to that fits this cover, is going to be in your ability to be an entrepreneur, look at a problem in your community, address that problem, and make a business out of it. Because unfortunately, after 9/11, you know, with the heightened security, you know, with credit checks, background checks, and the like, your only viable alternative work opportunity might be to cut hair or be a pastor or
get your own business started. And I talk to those guys about that, because one of the guys out there, he's an architect. And Lord blessed it, he's able to sell some of his art while he's even incarcerated.
Sure.
So I told him, don't worry about what somebody else making off your art, because one day you're gonna be free.
Might be Pablo Picasso one.
And so, but he's a great artist. And what I told him is that you might want to think about a career in being an architect. You know, working on some drawings for some builders or something like that. You know, so don't look at where, I guess what I'm saying is, don't look at where life got you at right now. Keep putting the work in. Keep doing those 2 things every day towards your success.
Sure.
And watch where the Lord have you, where you're going to be.
Right.
You know, and so that's that faith walk.
Yeah, because we want you to have a fortune and not be fortuneless.
Yeah. So, you know, we went over, so we covered
everything.
Finances.
You got to check us out on our website, www.williamsmemorialservices.com. We've got articles.
I can't forget family.
Yeah, family. Fervency.
Yeah.
You know, and thanks again for having us. And, you know, how do you want to end? We said so much. How do we close?
You know, the one thing I want to close with, thank all you guys for listening to us and watching us on UPT TV. I thank the Lord. Hopefully we said something to you that's positive, that's productive. When you see us riding down the street, make sure you get a peace sign, the deuces, and make sure you get out there and vote. Make sure you get your mind wrapped around voting, okay? All right, you guys have a good and a safe summer. Thank you.
Thank you.